Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we'll be into verse Franosuke with 6 more teams for you guys to take down the 50 stamina event that is the new arena that has come out on Optc Global. Now, this is actually pretty tough content. All the arenas moving forward will be. They're like a rehash of the Chaos Coliseum, but just to a much harder extent. So for today, we do have 6 different teams that I did put together with the help of the guys on stream today. So shout out to everyone that was on stream. I really appreciate you guys for coming out. And if you do want to join the streams, keep an eye out for the schedules. We do stream every Monday in Australian Eastern Standard Time. Which is most likely Sunday night for most Pacific Standard Time. So if you do want to be involved in the streams, make sure to keep an eye out for those. We do have a lot of fun. We do a lot of team building. I do take requests and like to help people out. So come stop over into the streams if you guys are looking for a bit of a hand. And if you are enjoying the content, make sure to smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, let's hop into the teams. Alright, so team number 1 is actually utilizing Halloween Shanks as our leader with a friend V2 Vivi Rebecca. So I'm just riding the meme now, utilizing Halloween Shanks whenever I can. But funny enough, he actually managed to get it done. Because Halloween Shanks is a cerebral unit, he can actually just partner up quite well with Vivi Rebecca V2. And because we can actually activate his super typing utilizing the Yasop limited rare recruit from Kizuna, we can actually get block orb manipulation with Halloween Shanks' super typing, which is actually really nice, as his super typing is arguably not that effective and it's actually quite hard to get off. But with Yasop fits into this team very, very well, as he can actually give us cooldowns as well as remove bind and despair. So as you guys will see on stage 3, we came up against Uso, Hachi, and Orobi. Now with the Corazon special, we can remove the 3 turns of chain lock that gets inflicted. And we can actually use the support of the support of V2 Law. Now V2 Law is going to give us a rainbow 1.75 times attack color. Oh my gosh, words are hard. Or buff. And that way we can easily just tear through this particular stage. On the next stage, we come up against Zoro. Now Zoro is a strength unit, and he is a little bit tricky to get around. He gives us a full board of block orbs. He gives us 2 turns of bind and despair, which we can remove with Yasop. And he rolls our specials back. But with Yasop, we can actually roll them forward as well. Then we can actually utilize our Vivi Rebecca's special. And then we can use the super typing of Halloween Shanks to guarantee us a full board of orbs. Now, with this particular team, as you guys saw there, I am cheating. I am using my own V2 Vivi Rebecca to get this done. But as I mentioned, I'm just sort of riding the meme at this point now. So, if you have Vivi Rebecca V2, obviously you're better off using her as your captain rather than Halloween Shanks. But for the meme, we're here. We're getting it done with my boy Halloween Shanks. So, on that previous stage, you want to make sure that you are the Dex variation of Vivi Rebecca. That is very, very important. That way we have an extra color affinity on this particular stage. So on the final stage against Franosuke, he is a quick unit who has 5 turns of damage reduction and binds all of our crewmates for 5 turns, which then goes down to 2 with sockets. So then what we can do here is we can use our friend Vivi Rebecca. We can switch into the Dex variation, so that way we get the chain multiplier buff as well. And then with the new Neptune, we can actually remove the damage reduction as well as give us color affinity. And with that, we actually just have plenty of damage to take out Franosuke on this particular turn. Shanks, unfortunately, is only like a 3.75 times attack boost to our entire squad, besides himself and Yasop, obviously. But as you guys can see, just with our 3 Dex units, we just managed to have that 40 mil. 42 mil to be exact, but we just have enough damage to take out Franosuke. On to the next team now. We're actually utilizing 6+ Blackbeard with a friend versus Kaido. Now, shout out to Kruby. I made this exact same team as my boy, but I was just shy of the damage. Now, in stream today, he did mention that you can actually use the support of Apu on Vivi and Rebecca, which is actually super important, as that way they actually get a guaranteed Dex Orb. The upside to getting a guaranteed Dex Orb means that we can give them a Super Bomb slot on the final stage, and we actually have another character that hits very hard, and because Vivi Rebecca's name is Vivi Rebecca, they're actually boosted in this event as well, so they're doing a lot more damage than the rest of this team. With versus Kaido, once you get to this particular stage against Uso Hachi, you do kind of want to stall out a bit, as Blackbeard's special is on such a high cooldown, but utilizing Blackbeard's special on the final stage helps out a lot, because he can actually remove the bind. On this particular stage too, you do want to try and farm up T&D and recovery orbs as well. That is fairly important when it comes to the verse Kaido, because you do want to have his versatility ready for the next stage against Zoro. I'll also leave a link in the description as well for my boy Kruby's channel. Make sure to head over there, smash the subscribe button. He is on Twitch as well, so if you can, head over to Twitch. I'll link those in the description. And if I can find if he uploads his run of this particular team, I'll make sure I link that in the description as well. Onto the final stage, onto the next stage against Zoro. He's going to bind and despair our top row and middle row. And with the support of Lafitte on our Blackbeard, we can actually remove that easy peasy. We're going to roll our specials forward by utilizing the page 1 special as he rolls strength and dex character special forward. And then we are going to use our friend Kaido for an attack boost as well as orb manipulation. We can also switch with Vivi Rebecca here into the strength variation. That way we get a 2.5 times chain lock, as well as being able to switch into the dex variation on the final stage for another 2.5 times chain lock. Sabo is basically just on this particular team to look pretty. He's a fighter and a shooter, so he fulfills 2 of the class requirements that Blackbeard actually requires. So having him on the team actually helps out a lot, even though we don't use his special throughout the entire run. On to the final stage now against Franosuke. He is going to bind our crewmates, which Blackbeard can remove with his special. Besides that, Blackbeard doesn't really provide too much. But because Franosuke rotates all of our orbs into unfavorable, we can actually manipulate that utilizing the Kid special. We do have Kamizo on our Kid. That way our driven units get a 1.3 times color affinity boost, which our Blackbeard and our Kid is. Then we can utilize our Kid special. Kid's going to throw all of the strength and dex orbs at Franosuke and turn them into super bomb orbs. The upside to super bomb orbs is they actually cannot be manipulated, which means that the block orb manipulation that Franosuke provides if you rotate orbs is basically irrelevant. Plus, Kid also gives us a 2.5 times attack boost to our dex units, which basically 5/6 of this team is. And because we are running a chain locking mechanic, we can just start our chain with the Kaido unit, and that way we can just start hitting with all of our dex units. Even though I did hit a great with one of my units here, as you can see, we have plenty of damage to take out Franosuke with 6+ Blackbeard, getting it done. So onto the next team now. We are using a mono int team, and we are sort of heavily relying on the int slashes, as well as Yasop once again. So our leader for this one is Halloween Law, and a friend super type Katakuri. Now, this team build was actually a little bit finicky, as stalling is actually very, very tricky. Ideally, you do want to have the Markano support on Yasop. That way, we can actually remove the chain lock that gets inflicted on this particular stage, and that way we can easily take out Robin. Now, if we get attacked by Robin and Usohachi, the reflection damage of Law is actually going to do quite a lot. Now, the downside to that is you struggle to stall with Law, and you'll basically wipe this stage very, very quick. So what I actually planned on doing on this particular stage was actually just taking out Robin and then stalling on Usohachi as much as I can. And I just managed to keep him alive with a bee's you-know-what. And didn't manage to take him out, which is actually really, really good. So that way we move into the next stage with our Yasop special. And that way we can remove the bind, the despair, and roll our specials forward. On this stage against Zoro, we are going to use the Yasop special. We're also going to use our Big Mom special. Big Mom's going to rotate all of those block orbs, as well as activating her verse ability to actually turn them into Semler slots. Turning them into Semler slots isn't that big of a, isn't really required, but having the verse ability available to us is actually super handy, because we can actually go through barriers and defensive effects if we need to. Now with Zoro, if you're getting below 50% HP, he actually puts up a 2-hit dex barrier for something like 6 turns, I think it is. So with the verse ability available to us with Big Mom, she can actually go through barriers, and with the Halloween slashes like Mihawk and Law, we can actually go through barriers with Barrier Pen. With Yasop as well, he also has Barrier Pen if you have leveled him up as well. So that way, 2/3 of this team can actually go through that barrier, and we don't actually need to worry about the dex orbs. With V2 Shanks as well, we can give ourselves an attack boost on this stage, and with the carrier of the orb buff that Big Mom provides, we'll actually have no issues whatsoever taking out Zoro. Something else to note on this particular team is we are running the Miguelo. Now the Miguelo is great because it actually gives us damage reduction, and that actually helps out a lot on that Usohachi stage, as we don't actually take as much damage for Law to reflect it back. Normally the reflection damage is great, but in this instance we do need to be careful. Onto the final stage against Franosuke. This is where things are going to get a little bit tricky. So what we want to do here is we want to actually stall out the bind. So we are just going to single tap with our Katakuri or our Law, whichever one you choose. I think I stuff it up and I actually attack with both on the next turn, but it really doesn't matter too much, as this team actually had a lot of damage. I think there is a little bit of a better way to do this. After I ran it, I thought, hang on, there is another way, but I'll have to, It might come to me as I do this commentary, but we'll see. So on the second turn, we are going to utilize the Law's super type ability. Law's going to give us back 50% of our HP, which means that we can actually tank another shot from Franosuke, and then we don't have to worry about that bind. If you go low enough there and you have Katakuri super typing, you could actually use Katakuri super typing there and get the delay mechanic, and then that way you don't even have to worry about taking this particular shot. But with my run, I actually didn't have Katakuri's super type available to me, so I had to take another shot, and because of that, I managed to get the super type available. Now, if you don't use Law's special on the previous turn, that's what I wanted to say. If you don't use Law's special on the previous turn, you can actually get more damage output and use the super type of Katakuri this turn, and then use the Law special on this turn and pass one more turn. Because we have the delay mechanic for 2 turns, we can actually get Law's special off, and we can actually use Mihawk's special as well on this particular stage. That way we get the support of Zoro for the 2 turns of chain lock. We can carry over the 2.5 times attack and orb boost, and then on the second turn we can use the Katakuri special to get the 2 times to the conditional of delay. But as you can see, even though I didn't do it the way that I just described, it still managed to get the job done with a lot of damage. So Mono Int still proving that they can actually put out a lot of damage very, very well. On to the next team now. We are utilizing a double Luffy and Zoro team. The old school Wano Orbs are back, and this team actually did it really, really well. I was super impressed with this particular team. If you guys didn't summon on the Vivi Rebecca banners, or you didn't get lucky and pull Neptune, you can easily replace him with basically anyone else that does damage reduction removal. Ideally, you do want to try and get like some sort of color affinity booster in, so you could just try and like weasel your way through and have like a free spirit color affinity booster or something like that. But Neptune worked really, really well on this particular team, because not only does he remove damage reduction, but he also gives us color affinity rainbow to our entire team, which is just super, super nice. On the Usohachi and O'Robin stage, we are going to use our Hawkins special, and then we can actually use our Sobermask special. So that way, if you don't have a full board of Wano Orbs, you can use Sobermask to give you one. And then with Hawkins, we can make that stage very, very easy, and we can actually make this particular stage against Zoro very easy as well. If you take more damage throughout the run for the first 2 stages, obviously the tap timing of Hawkins is just going to do a hell of a lot more damage, and this team is actually going to be a lot more safe. But this team actually flew through it fairly quickly and just did not have too many issues whatsoever. On the stage against Zoro, we are going to use our Lucy special, 6-pass Lucy, and then we want to use the special of our friend Luffy and Zoro. That way we get the orb buff as well as the chain lock, and then we have an attack buff with the buff with Lucy. Then we can switch with our Luffy and Sanji, so that way we can switch back on the next turn to guarantee ourselves a T&D orb or a Wano orb. And what we want to do on this particular stage is actually just attack with our quick units. That way we can just keep Wano orbs moving into the final stage, and when Franosuke rotates our orbs into negative orbs, it's not going to matter because Wano orbs cannot be manipulated. The only orb that is going to be manipulated is our Luffy and Zoro, and we can just easily switch with Luffy Zoro to give ourselves back a Wano orb, use our special for the orb buff and the chain lock, and with the support of Nami, we can remove that final turn of bind. We're going to finish it off with the Neptune special to remove the damage reduction and give us color affinity, and because Lucy gives us the carryover of an attack boost, we have a 2 times attack boost to this entire squad as well. And with that, we can just easily take out Franosuke, no issues whatsoever. Beautiful, 52 million, so a bit of an overkill damage, and it worked quite well. So the next team is a Sugar team, utilizing a friend V2 Vivi Rebecca once again. Shout out to one of my Yonkos, CHOO BIGG, the biggest Sugar fan I've ever met in my entire life. So we're doing this one for you, brother. And he was actually there today in stream, which was really, really cool to see. So with this particular team, it's very, very similar to most of the other teams going around. This sort of team sort of build is very similar to utilizing like a V1 Kaido as well. But the way this team operates is we actually utilize 2 turns on the final stage by utilizing the Kuzan special to get the carryover effect of the orb and attack buff that Vivi Rebecca provides. On the 3rd stage against Usohachi and O'Robin, we actually need to just sort of stall a little bit here, as we just don't have a way to get around the chain lock mechanic. On stage, like step 2, if you don't kill Usohachi, he's going to paralyze one of your units randomly for 2 turns, and if you don't kill Robin, she gives you a full board of unfavorable orbs. On the 3rd turn, Usohachi's going to give himself attack up, and O'Robin's going to give you extra damage taken. So ideally, just try and just hang around on Usohachi on this particular stage, as once we can get rid of the chain lock, we can move on to the Zoro stage. On to the next stage against Zoro. This is where we're going to use the combination of Hina and Kobe. Hina and Kobe are actually just incredibly good for this content. And if you guys have farmed them up, I would try and find a way to put them on a team and sort of build it around Cerebral. As Hina and Kobe literally on this particular stage remove everything. They give you an orb boost, they give you an attack boost, they give you block orb manipulation, they lock your orbs, they remove the bind, they remove the despair. And with the support of Jinbei, we can actually get a cheeky little chain multiplier buff. Then we're going to switch with our friend Vivi Rebecca into the Dex variation so we have a bit more color affinity, but mainly so we get that chain buff mechanic. Because we get the chain buff as well as the chain multiplier from Vivi Rebecca, we can actually get up to a 3.3 times chain lock, which does help out quite a lot when we are taking out that Zoro stage. Now, we do have a bunch of quick units on this team, so it's very easy to take out Zoro, and it's very important that we do kill him on turn 1. Otherwise, he gives us extra damage, and we will die on this particular stage. On this stage against Franky, we are going to switch back into the Dex variation of Vivi Rebecca, so we get the chain multiplier, but that really doesn't matter because we just want to use their special to remove the bind, give ourselves an attack and an orb boost, and then use the Kuzan special to actually extend them for 1 turn. What we're going to do here is we're just going to pass a turn because we really can't do any damage as he still has the damage reduction buff on himself. So we are just going to cop a shot from Franosuke. What Franosuke does, he does a 50% HP cut and then he attacks. So he does a lot of damage every single turn. So if you are copying shots, just make sure that you do have enough HP. And if you do have enough HP, just remember that you are going to lose 50% of it before he attacks. On the second turn, we are going to use the Neptune special. Neptune's going to remove the damage reduction, as well as give us color affinity for 3 turns. And then we can use Sugar's bear mechanic to turn everyone into bears, and then just watch the bears do the rest. Franosuke basically just melts at that point. Well, he doesn't melt, like we only just have the damage, but it was kind of cool getting it done with Sugar. And once again, shout out to my, one of my members, and Yonko's, that is my man, CHOO BIGG. So the final team of the video, this one was actually a bit of a fun team. Now, shout out to Subconsci. I did get the inspiration from him on this particular team to sort of just see how big of a chain multiplier I can get and how much damage I can output with Germa. So I will leave a link to the description to Subconsci's channel as well as the video that I did see. Most of you guys probably know Subconsci. He does some crazy team building things, and shout out to him because this team was actually a lot of fun. So we are utilizing Cracker and Law for the 2 turns of Orb buff, color affinity, chain lock, and chain buff mechanic, as Luffy Sanji as our captain satisfies the fighter and free spirit tags, so we can actually get both their effects. We do have Boa on this team, as we can get her super typing off, and then we don't have to worry about the orb manipulation, as super typings don't trigger enemy interrupts. And then we have Karina to remove the damage reduction, as well as give ourselves damage reduction so we can actually tank a few shots. Boa gives us healing, Luffy Sanji gives us overheal, and then with the Germa, we can actually get the chain multiplier buff, as well as being super effective against all types. So this team was actually really, really fun, and I think I hit a grade at the end, and we still have like so much damage. I think Subconsci's video, I think when he did it, he did something like 61 million just with Germa. I think that's what I saw. My team, I did not do even close to that with Germa, so I have to have another look and see like how he did it, but I'm pretty sure he had the Shanks and Ben Beckman, so he had like a 3 times color affinity and stuff like that. So either way, both teams got the job done, and if you do want to check out Subconscious video, like I said, I will leave a link in the description. Onto the Zoro stage now. As you saw, we just sort of stalled our way through that chain lock. On the Zoro stage, this is where things get a little bit finicky. On stage 2, because we don't get him below 50% HP, he's going to give us the hunger debuff, but with Luffy Sanji, we can just remove that easy peasy. And then we can actually utilize this Luffy Sanji special on turn 2 to do as much damage as we can to Zoro. Now, you could actually use the Liberal Hind special on that first turn and actually just get Luffy Sanji special on turn 1 and then do a bunch of damage. And that'll probably be a little bit quicker, but your boy just totally forgot about the Liberal Hind special and totally forgot that Boa gives the 2.5 times attack boost. So I was under the impression that I had to get the Luffy Sanji special back, so I wanted to save the Liberal Hind special till after I used their Luffy Sanji special, but either way, it doesn't really matter. After that, basically, you just want to sort of take out Zoro with normal attacks. He is going to put up that Dex barrier. Boa has Barrier Pen, which is great, but just utilizing the switchability of Luffy Sanji, you can get healing, and then you can take out Zoro once that barrier is gone. On to the final stage against Franosuke now. He's going to give us bind on our entire crew, and he's going to have damage reduction. So what we actually want to do with this particular team is we're actually just going to stall out the bind, utilizing the switch abilities of Luffy Sanji, as well as the special of Boa. Because we can only use 2 specials every single turn, it makes this a little bit finicky. But as I mentioned, it was a lot of fun. So after turn 1, we have the Boa special active, so we are getting healing every single turn. We are just going to switch with Luffy Sanji to remove the bind, and then on the second turn, we can use the Karina special, and we can use the... Which special do we use? We use the Karina special to remove damage reduction and give ourselves damage reduction, and then I think we use the Luffy Sanji special off the top of my head. Yeah, we used the Luffy Sanji special just to get ourselves a full heal. Unfortunately, because we get orb manipulation both times, we do have to sit through the interrupt, so he just rotates our orbs back to block. But it's not that big of a deal. We are just going to pass the turn once again. We do have 2 turns of damage reduction now, which is great. And because we have the overheal from Luffy and Sanji, we can actually tank quite a bit of damage here. On the second turn, we are going to use the Cracker special, and we can use the Law special. So Cracker gives us 2 turns of color affinity, 2 turns of chain buff at a 1.1 times rate. Then we have Law special that gives us a 2.25 times orb boost to our entire crew, as well as a chain lock that starts at 2.5 up to 35 times. Then after we pass this turn, we are going to use our Germa special. Germa is going to become our leader, which makes them super effective against all types. We can activate the Germa super typing to give us the chain multiplier buff. And then we can use the super typing of Boa. With the super typing of Boa, we are going to rotate all of our orbs into matching, or into Psi orbs, I should say, which is pretty much matching for this entire team besides Cracker. And then with the super typing of Germa, we get the chain multiplier buff. And as you guys will see, we go up to something like a 6.25 times chain multiplier. And Germa, being super effective against all types, basically just claps through Franosuke's HP pool. So we're going to attack with everyone just to build up our chain multiplier. 5.3, 5.7, 6.1. And even with the great, I hit 27 mil, so that could be a much higher with the perfect. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lates!